Fulham have never competed in the UEFA Champions League, but that all changed after last season's dramatic end to the season. I still can't believe we pulled it off, so let's get to the group draw. Huh? 8 games? A league table? Matches in January? UEFA, what have you done? Our anticipated debut in the Champions League will be at the San Mamés against Athletic Bilbao. Breathe in the Champions League music, as the rest of the match was less than memorable. You could say the same about the start of the season. Pictionary finally arrived at my house, because as is tradition, we are drawing a bunch. The first 4 Premier League matches all finished 1-1. The highlights were Carvalho's 89th minute goal being cancelled out immediately by Mateta, and James Justin breaking my heart as we were minutes away from an incredible result against Manchester City. Fabio Carvalho also scored in that game. Alright, he's back again. Another loan for the kid, although the fans weren't as excited as before. I told you we overdid the returns. Regardless, another return was Wilson Esbrand on a permanent contract for $5 million. Now, a lot of changes were needed for one of the worst defenses in the league last season. Valeri was no longer the guy, so Šimikas came in from Lazio for 30 big ones. I wouldn't register Valeri into the Champions League squads, and he'd be sold. Another year, and another center back in. No one great wanted to join us. So the best we could do was bring in Igor on loan from Barcelona with the option to buy. If he's better than Ignacio, I won't complain. The last defensive signing was in net, Dennis Seyman from Stuttgart. One of, if not the best wonder kid keeper in the game. I was shocked that he actually wanted to join me. That meant, Pickford, go. I don't need you anymore.
I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving!
Wolves were not giving up on him. However, once they had it at a combined 40 million plus, I had a chat with Pickford and told him to get the hell out. No more Pickford. Unfortunately, all my new signings wouldn't help us win. Well into September versus Tottenham, Heung-min Son scored 2 pretty quickly because did we fix our center back issue? Probably not.
I mean, what is the point?
Now, there was one transfer I didn't tell you about, and he would make his debut off the bench. When Football Manager 2023 came out, everyone was talking about one specific wonder kid. A guy who has the potential to become the best player in the game, who in real life is being chased by Real Madrid, PSG, Chelsea, and I'm sure a bunch of other clubs. Endrick is supposed to be the next big thing in Brazil, and at 16, he's already getting starts for Palmeiras. We're 4 years into the game, and somehow, no big clubs went after him. The only one was Everton, and I thought, yeah, that's not happening. So he came in for 19.5 million. As he came off the bench, there was this aura around him where defenders had no clue what to do. Neither did Livakovic, who gifted his first ever goal. We still lost. Brushing past the Carabao Cup because we played Manchester City, we finally won a match. Versus Leeds, an Anthony spin from Carvalho actually led to a proper pass where Mitro lost the ball, but luckily it went to Endrick, who tucked it home. Aston Villa continued the positivity with 4 goals in the first half. Sheldon, Brennan Johnson, and Marcos Leonardo all involved. He'd also opened his scoring versus Everton, but instead of a comfortable performance, this time it was more erratic. Fabio Carvalho scored a brilliant free kick, but Fabrizio Diaz channeled his inner Luis Suarez and left my team lying on the floor. To finish off the clown show, we took out our former player Carlos Vinicius out in the box, probably because of the 50% clause, and his penalty was the winner. Ignacio on a 5.8, and Amaro, not much better. Sergio Conceição became Arsenal manager to send them from relegation to mediocrity. When his side arrived at Craven Cottage, they clearly didn't expect Sheldon to score 2 in the first 15. They must have been rattled as we kept a clean sheet, and it seemed like our defense were turning it around. 300 IQ defending gives them all the space and then blocks it. Versus Norwich, it was more of a rotated side, and with Endrick and Rodrigo Muniz giving us a 2-0 lead, all was sealed.
Fight and win!
The frustration was avoided when we won a penalty late, but the next 6 Premier League fixtures were disastrous. West Ham and Newcastle had me raging. Stupid mistakes and defensive acts that I swear could be charged for war crimes. Those 2 losses turned into 3 as Chelsea continued the frustration with Andres Pereira being too casual on the ball, Gallagher getting open like McAllister, and Amaro getting sent off. Newly promoted Brighton was a snorefest. Liverpool, however, was looking different. Right before halftime, Oscar Glow scored. I was shocked, so agent Šimikas decided to give space on Salah's right foot, and Seyman conceded this, which was pathetic. Even worse, we let old Henderson score off a corner to continue the disappointment. Against Wolves, playing Nat Phillips while he was recovering from food poisoning wasn't smart, as Gonçalo Guedes scored off a rebound. Mitro would immediately get a red card. Fabio Carvalho wasn't helping either, as he got sent off too. Wolves would take advantage, having Guedes to get 2 more to complete his hat-trick. That left us in 13th after 15 matches. With a new format, we still had 7 games, and the difficulty was on both sides of the aisle. Big teams like Atletico Madrid, Juventus, Bayern, and Barcelona remained. Although, on the other end, Dinamo Kiev, Ludogorets, and Partizan were rarely problems in previous FMs. That continued to be true as the results with them were 4-2, 3-0, and 6-1 respectively, while using a rotated side. The remaining 4 matches proved to be a challenge, and brought back memories of 2010. Let's start with Juventus, who last faced Fulham in the Europa League round of 16 in that mentioned year. One club went on to dominate their country, the other was Fulham. Despite being at home, Gabriel Jesus was threatening early, and that threat soon led to a 9th-minute goal from the Brazilian. I blame Inacio. Don't you fear, Marcos Leonardo was here to make it all even, but not for long. One thing you don't want to do is give space for Paul Pogba to shoot. I guess my guy didn't want to stick out his foot. Luckily, Juventus made a mistake after the break, and Marcos Leonardo equalized. 2-2 was the final result. Going back to 2010, Atletico Madrid were Fulham's Europa League final opponent, and the two would finally get to play each other again. It finished 0-0. Moving on. After 6 Champions League fixtures, we were in 7th place, which would automatically send us to the round of 16. The problem was that we still had Bayern and Barcelona left. Stepping onto the Allianz Arena pitch, a cautious approach was the play. That didn't help with defending their free kick, where Coli scored the lone goal, dropping us down to 13th. In the new format, if you finish outside the top 8, you head to a playoff phase where teams in 9th to 24th play in a knockout round to determine who goes to the last 16. It was a must-win versus Barcelona, and some luck was needed too. They've won La Liga in the first season of the save, but Real Madrid have been dominant ever since. Nevertheless, they still had a strong side. Thinking about this for a second though, Barcelona are playing at Craven Cottage. In what world are we living in? Clearly UEFA Lona's world, as we conceded an early penalty. What is this, UEFA Lona? Oh, he saved! Robert misses! Free kick now. Leonardo! Waste time. We beaten Barcelona! Let's go! We still didn't finish in the top 8, so we'll face Lyon in February. Meanwhile, there were 8 Premier League matches played. With us closer to relegation than Europe, we had to start picking up the results. Arsenal at the Emirates looked like a brilliant display, despite Martinelli making us look like fools before the opener. We regrouped in the second half as Neto scored a banger in the 54th minute, nearing the last 10 on the clock. Great ball. Leonardo. Rodrigo. Leonardo. Andreas. Let's go! Instead, Laconga sends in Pepe. Come on. Again, I blame Inacio. Stoke following was difficult, but Marcos Leonardo did enough to break the stalemate. He'd repeat the feat versus our West London rivals Brentford, but once again, we just can't get over the hump in these derbies as it ended in a draw. Marcos Leonardo popped up one more time, but a ball in behind, a missed header, and a Christian Eriksen free kick brought back the pain.
Spain without the S.
Let me introduce you to Isaac Togo. He's a new gen center back I bought from Millwall last January for 8.75 million. With all the adults dropping stinker after stinker, I thought, let this guy play. After several matches, he began to get comfortable, and that confidence was displayed as he scored his first ever goal against Everton. It was a solid display from the boys, which yet again saw Marcos Leonardo scoring. Everton would get their revenge and eliminate us from the FA Cup, but I won't worry about it. What I was concerned with was his deadlock with Aston Villa, an even match that saw Endrick and Rebic exchanging goals. Until, can definitely be wrong, I'd happy be Maro, you bozo! We're gonna have to play Gagliardini at center back. What have we come to? I think this is just gonna be a highlight to end the game. Unless we can counter and score, I won't be mad. Endrick. Okay. Endrick? Let's go! Endrick! A Norwich smashing later, we hosted Manchester United at the end of January. There would be some action, but the sides decided to save it late. Let's go, Igor! Highlight with 3 minutes of regular time left. Did I see that right? Oh no! No! Is Maguire playing right back? Yes. Johnson. Brennan Johnson. Nat? Johnson. Let's go! Fulham are massive. Add that with destroying Watford and finally winning a West London derby thanks to a Dan James goal. We were in 5th after 26 matches, 1 point behind 4th. Lyon have been in disarray throughout this save. The prime example is offering me the job to manage them. Twice. the Parc Olympique Lyonnais hosted our first ever Champions League knockout fixture. It didn't start off well with Galeno completely rinsing Moises Caicedo. At least the project succeeded. Simon was also injured for this round, but off the ensuing kickoff, Brennan Johnson was tripped up for a penalty, and Shamikas would make up for his poor corner to give us the lead heading into the second leg. Lyon were obliterated, and we're lucky it was only 2-1. They put up more of a fight in leg 2, however, Marcos Leonardo begged a brace to send us through. Now that we qualified for the Champions League round of 16, who would be our opponent? Who did we draw? Real Madrid! It's not every day that Craven Cottage gets to host Barcelona and Real Madrid in a season. The plan was to keep it tight at home and pray in the second leg. Good news, Vinicius Jr. was injured. The bad news, the rest of their team wasn't. A few chances came and went, but all scored at half. Sadly, off a Real Madrid free kick, the back post remained unmarked for Vapor, a guy Real Madrid paid 90 million for. Marcos Leonardo nearly equalized, but Courtois tipped it off the post. Amaro? What are you doing? Oh, where's our defense? Where did our defense go? An even match ruined by a dumb error and Courtois. The second leg was simple for Madrid as they'd find the third goal of the tie to put us in our place. We had 12 matches left in the Premier League and one goal: get back into the Champions League. We came up to the age-old question, can Fulham do it on a cold rainy night in Stoke? With Endrick and Schelderup? The answer was yes. Carvalho and Marcos Leonardo dealt with Crystal Palace, but then it was the international break.
I felt a great disturbance in the force.
Every single season after this break, our club collapsed. That needed to change, but unfortunately, Wolves had other plans. Catenaccio. No one marking Kilman off a rebound, and Jordan Pickford getting an assist because Inácio can't win a header. Add that with our 3 expected goals equaling 1. With Liverpool and Chelsea next, we can kiss 4th place goodbye. We've never beaten them in the save. Oh, Hernandez, mistake, Brennan Johnson, Golazzo Fulham, let's go! Despite several Liverpool chances, they weren't on it, and we pulled it off. Even better, Manchester United couldn't do it on a cold rainy night in Stoke, leaving us just 1 point behind. Now, can we do the same with Chelsea? Oh gosh, Chilwell. Bro, how does Chilwell score there? Goat James? Ankara James? Dan James! Oh my word! Let's encourage. Last 10 minutes. Oh, Wilson Esbrand finds glow. To Ankara Dan James. Again? Oh my! Oh! A tough away match at Newcastle ended in a stalemate, and losing to West Ham at home was spoiling the chase. United were now 6 points above us, and soon to be relegated Brighton continued our misery by going 2-0 up in 24 minutes. However, Mitrovic, who has been a shadow of his former self, got one back. He may no longer be the guy in the future, but his contributions late in the season were crucial. Endrick would equalize, and the comeback would be complete with Andreas Pereira finding Endrick for the late winner. Leicester were then smacked 3-0, despite Dan James getting sent off when he got annoyed about losing the ball or something. Regardless, Man United's 2 fixtures went poorly, losing to Everton and Chelsea. We were tied on points, and this race was now only with us and them. We both had to face Manchester City, and even though Pep said, "Oh, we will rotate our side versus Fulham,"
So that was a lie.
Man City kept cooking up chances, but Seaman made some massive stops, and City weren't on it. Then, with about 5 minutes left, Neto would smash in the winner. United defeated Leicester, but before we set onto the pitch versus Leeds, they'd be on the end of Pep's wrath.
Cheers.
Everyone.
Thank you.
We have the opportunity to hop into 4th, but Leeds weren't making it simple. Goals exchanged until it was 2-2. A draw would place us 1 point above 5th, but with Spurs on the final day, I couldn't just sit and not go for the winner. Last minute highlight. Oh no, our wingbacks are out of position. Oh no, what have I done? What have I done? Okay, we're fine. Oh no! Oh, what have I done? United won on the final day, while we drew Spurs and finished in 5th. So I guess it's Europa League dreaming next year. Just kidding. After the Champions League final, UEFA was like, actually, you qualified.